them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. So, after yung negative command, we find a positive command. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. That's the negative. The positive command is, bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Yung term na ginamit dito sa Greek was translated as, bring them up. So, ito yung pinaka-accurate na term, which carries with it the idea of nourishing something. Kung paano ay priority niya ang kanyang asawa, precious ito sa kanya, ganon din naman ang kanyang mga anak na precious sa kanya. Kailangan naroon yung pag-aaruga, naroon yung pagpapahalaga. He must be mindful of the responsibility and privilege to nourish them, to see to it that they are protected, they are provided for, and encouraged in the Lord. Dapat hindi sila ma-discourage sa Panginoon. Kaya nga, remember sa ating application last time na maaaring nagpo-profess tayo ng pananampalataya, pero kung hindi pala ito nakikita ng ating mga anak, marahil magdulot ito ng discouragement sa ating mga anak na masasabi niyang hypocrite yung kanyang parents na professing the faith, pero that faith hindi nako-convey sa kanyang mga anak o hindi nakikita sa buhay ng mga parents. Kaya ngayon, nagkakaroon ng ibang signal sa mga anak. So, dapat ang fathers, ang unang-una na nag-encourage sa ating mga anak para doon lumapit sa Panginoon. Brothers, if you consider men being called in Congress and in Senate as a high calling, or the presidency as a high calling, so, if we see that as a high calling, parents, particularly fathers, ang pagkatawag bilang magulang at pagiging ama ay hindi po mababa na pagkatawag, sapagkat ang tumawag sa atin ay ang ating Panginoon. Ito po ay mataas na pagtawag, because God is the one who calls us for the task. Lastly, fathers, are you teaching them the gospel? Are you teaching them to receive with meekness the word of God? Are you teaching them about who God is? Or are you teaching them about who we are? So, the basic doctrine is about God and doctrine of man. If you know yourself that you're incapable to enter into heaven, you see your incapacity to enter heaven because you can't. It is only by the grace of God. Papasok ngayon yung katuruan sa Diyos na kailangan mo ng isang tagapagligtas. Kailangan mo ang gospel. Kailangan mo si Kristo. So, paanong matuturuan ng mga anak sa gospel kung ang mismong parents hindi nauunawaan ng gospel? Hindi namumuhay sa gospel. Fathers and mothers, we must teach our children these things. And how should we teach them? By including them in the assembly of the church. Paano sila matututo kung wala sila sa church? Maging active man sila sa lahat ng bagay sa society, maging sikat man sila sa society because sila ay kapakinabang sa society, pero lahat ng bagay na yon, sa huling araw, yun ay walang pakinabang. Hindi mo ito pwedeng i-offer sa harapan ng Diyos upang ikaw pumasok sa langit. So, kailangan mga parents na tayo mismo magdala sa ating mga anak sa church. Hanggat sila'y nasa ating mga poder. Hanggat sila'y natuturuan pa natin. Because it is in the church that the Word of God is preached. For our application, I'll be quoting the applications ng outline ni Pastor Jeremiah Hangad doon sa children's retreat nila, where he also discussed Ephesians chapter 6 verses 1 to 4. Sabi niya rito, Obedience is not automatic and not instinct in the children's hearts. It must be taught because they want to rule and manipulate their parents. What is natural in them is to disobey. Disobedience is a skill that does not require teaching. It comes naturally from a sinful heart, which is very true. So, no wonder, pag binasa natin ang buong scriptures, there's a lot of commands, not just the Decalogue. There are lots of commands in scriptures because people, because of its fallen humanity, is very, very good in disobedience. The father is the primary teacher and discipler at home, and the mother shares this responsibility as she submits to the man of the house. Kids are not licensed to talk against their parents, to talk back to parents. It is an imperative manner. They are not the commanding officers of the house. They must submit to the authority of the parents. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 24 to 25 says, "The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice, and he who fathers a wise son will be glad in him. Let your father and your mother be glad, and let her rejoice who gave birth to you." Children, obey your parents. Obey them. This is the most natural and obvious attitude that must be seen between parent-children relationships. Children are rational beings, so they must obey. Children, when should you obey? Pagkatapos ng mga 3 minuto na galit na yung parents? O yung may mga anak na kung tawagin si 5 minutes? Pag may instruction, ang sagot agad 5 minutes lang mami, 5 minutes lang mami, 5 minutes lang daddy, 5 minutes lang daddy, si 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, 5 minutes na naman. No. That is disobedience. Disobedience is not pleasing to the Lord. Obedience should be prompt and without delay. Obedience delayed is not obedience at all.